Hello, my dear children. How are you all doing? I know exams are just around the corner, and the tension is building up. But don't you worry. Let's quickly revise one of the most interesting chapters, A Letter to God. Trust me, it's a very simple story, but with a very deep meaning. By the time we're done, this chapter will be crystal clear for you.
So, before we jump into the plot, just look at this question. What if your faith in God was absolutely unbreakable, but your faith in other people? Not so much. Think about that for a second. This one idea, this one question, is really the heart of the entire story. It's what makes everything happen. So let's see how. Okay, so here's our plan. Super simple. We'll meet Lencho the farmer. Then we'll see how a storm just destroys everything. After that, we'll see his incredible next step, writing a simple letter to God. Then we'll look at the Postmaster's kindness, and finally the big twist at the end. And of course, we'll cover the important themes you need for your exam. Ready? Let's begin.
All right, first things first, let's meet our main character, Lencho. He's a very hardworking farmer. In fact, his house is the only one in the whole valley. The book says he worked like an ox in his fields. But, the most important thing about Lencho isn't how strong he is. It's his faith. He has this simple, powerful, and completely unshakable belief in God. And look at this. Everything is looking perfect. Lencho's cornfield is beautiful, it's full of flowers, and it's promising a fantastic harvest for his family. The only thing missing? Just a little bit of rain. At this point in the story, everything is full of hope.
And just like that, his wish comes true. It starts to rain. Lencho is so happy that he goes outside just to feel the rain on his body. And this is where we find a very important quote, Beta. Remember this for your exams. He says the raindrops aren't raindrops. They are new coins. Why? Well, because this rain meant he would have a good harvest, and a good harvest meant he would earn money. So for him, it was like money was literally falling from the sky.
But this happy moment, it doesn't last long at all. Just as quickly as that hope arrived, it's about to turn into complete sadness. Suddenly, that lovely rain shower turns into a horrible storm. A strong wind starts blowing, and then large hailstones begin to fall. The story calls them frozen pearls, which sounds beautiful, right? But these pearls weren't precious at all. They were completely destructive.
For 1 whole hour, the hail just hammered the entire valley. And the result was total destruction. The cornfield was gone. It was completely white, as if someone had covered it with salt. Not a single leaf was left on the trees. In just 1 hour, everything Lencho had worked for was gone.
Okay, exam time. Let's take a small break. Now listen carefully, children. This is a very common question in your exams. Why did Lencho say the raindrops were like new coins? You'll see this pop up for sure, so let's make sure you have the perfect answer ready.
It's simple. Just remember these 3 points. First, the rain was very important for his crops. Second, a good crop would mean good money for his family. And so, the conclusion is, for him, each drop of rain had real value, just like a new coin. If you write your answer using these points, you'll get full marks.
So Lencho's fields are completely ruined. His family is facing hunger. It feels like everything is lost. But remember that one thing we talked about? The one thing the storm couldn't destroy? That was his faith.
And what was his hope? Help from God. Now, you and I, if we were in this situation, we might ask our friends for help or our family. But Lencho's mind is different. His faith is so simple and direct, his only solution is to talk to God himself. And so he does something amazing. He writes a letter and addresses it simply to God.
And he's not just asking for some help. No. He asks for a very specific amount. 100 pesos. Now, just think of pesos like our rupees, okay? It's the money they use there. And this wasn't just some random number. He had calculated it. This was exactly how much he needed to plant his field all over again and to feed his family until the next crop came. So, Lencho writes his letter, puts a stamp on it, and drops it in the mailbox. This is where the story gets really interesting. What do you think happens when the people at the post office find a letter addressed to God? Well, naturally, the postman who sees it first starts laughing. He takes it to his boss, the postmaster, who also starts laughing. But then, something changes. The postmaster stops laughing and suddenly becomes very serious. He's just amazed by the faith of the person who wrote this letter. And he makes a big decision. He decides that this person's faith is so beautiful, it cannot be broken.
So, to protect that incredible faith, the postmaster comes up with a plan. First, he decides he will answer the letter, but not with words, with money. Second, he asks all his employees to donate some money. Third, he himself gives a part of his own salary. But even after all that, as you can see, they were only able to collect a little more than half of what Lencho had asked for.
So the postmaster puts all the money they collected into an envelope and signs it with just one word: God. He wants Lencho to believe his prayer was answered. So when Lencho comes back to the post office, it seems like we're heading for a happy ending. Or are we?
Lencho gets the letter, and he opens it right there. Inside, he finds money. But there's a problem. It's not 100 pesos. The postmaster and his friends, with all their efforts, could only collect 70 pesos.
Now watch Lencho's reaction very carefully. He is not at all surprised to get money from God. Not one bit. His faith is so strong that he expected it. But he isn't happy or thankful. He is angry. But why? Because the amount is wrong. In Lencho's mind, God would never make a mistake, and God would never send him less than what he asked for. So if God sent 100, where did the other 30 pesos go?
And this, my children, is the brilliant, ironic twist of the story. Can you believe it? Lencho marches right back to the counter and writes another letter. In it, he tells God, "I only received 70 pesos. Please send me the rest." But then he adds one more thing. "Don't send it to me through the mail because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks." Just imagine, the very same people who helped him. He calls them thieves? This fantastic ending is what makes the story so famous, and it's full of important themes for your exam. So let's quickly break down what you absolutely must know to write a great answer.
The most important thing here is irony. So, what is irony? It's when what happens is the total opposite of what you expect. Here, the post office staff did something very kind and generous. They expected Lencho to be happy. But what was the result? The exact opposite. He thought they were thieves. The heroes of our story were seen as the villains. This is a perfect example of irony. This little table here really sums up the whole conflict of the story. On one side, you have Lencho's faith in God, which is absolute, 100%. On the other side, you have his faith in other human beings, which is 0. He immediately thinks they stole from him. This fight between faith in God and faith in humanity is the main theme of this story.
So you see, the story leaves us with a big question to think about. Is it better to have this kind of blind faith in one thing, even if it makes you accuse innocent people? Or is it better to have a little bit of faith in everyone around you? What do you think? The story doesn't give a simple answer, and that's the beauty of it. So that was a letter to God for you. I really hope this quick summary makes things easier. Don't take too much stress, okay? Study well and all the very best for your exams. You are all going to do great.